Once upon a time, there was a boy who had everything. 17 years old, sitting in the back of his chemistry class, he looked like success personified. His teachers called on him and he answered perfectly. His parents bragged about him at family dinners. Colleges were already sending him letters. He was the boy everyone wanted to be, top grades, popular with friends, respected by teachers. The future already decided in his favor. But if you looked carefully, you would see something else. His hands trembled slightly as he turned the page of his notebook. His eyes darted to his phone every few seconds, checking for messages, checking for warnings, checking for discovery. When his chemistry teacher asked an unexpected question, something not on the study guide, fear flickered across his face, just for a moment, just enough to know something was wrong. He looked like a winner from the outside, but inside he was drowning in terror. Terror that someone would find out. Terror that this perfect life wasn't real. Terror that if anyone looked too closely, they would see the truth. He didn't deserve any of it. He had built his entire world on something fragile, something false, and every single day, he lived in fear that it would collapse. But what he didn't realize was that each shortcut he took, each lie he told, each corner he cut, they weren't saving him. They were building a prison he couldn't escape. A prison made of his own choices. And soon, very soon, the walls would start closing in. It wasn't always this way. When he was younger, he was just normal, smart enough, good grades, but not perfect. He sat comfortably in the middle, not the brightest, but not struggling either. His parents were happy. His teachers were satisfied. His friends didn't treat him differently. But then something shifted. Maybe it was turning 14. Maybe it was seeing his classmate get into an elite boarding school. Maybe it was overhearing his parents at dinner. I wish he could be like Arjun. Arjun is always top of the class. He realized in that moment that being average wasn't enough anymore. Being average meant being invisible. So he started comparing himself to everyone around him. Why did Priya get perfect scores? Why was Rowan on the debate team? Why did Shreya have the teacher's respect? And underneath all these questions was the real one. Why wasn't he special? He wanted to be seen. He wanted to matter. He wanted his parents to say his name with pride, not just acceptance. So he made a decision. Not a big one, just a small one. One night, before a biology test, he opened his friend's answers, just to check his own work. Just this once. His parents had always said, "Be honest and you'll be proud." But he thought something different now. I'll be proud when I'm the best, and I'll do whatever it takes. And it worked. Too well. Within months, cheating became his routine. Not occasional, not desperate, systematic. He stayed late in the library while his parents thought he was studying. And he was, but not how they imagined. He scrolled through old papers, copying answers. He found solutions online, memorizing them until they felt like his own knowledge. The night before tests, he copied formulas onto his inner wrist where no one could see. During group projects, he wrote everything himself, then deliberately stepped back and let his friends present his work as theirs. They felt grateful. They felt helped. They trusted him more. His friends thought he was generous. His parents thought he was brilliant. His teachers thought he was a genius. Nobody knew he was cheating in at least 60% of his classes. The infrastructure was flawless. Multiple backup plans, rotating which friends' answers he used. Careful timing so no pattern emerged. But the exhaustion was real. Every night, managing the lies. Every morning, afraid someone had noticed. Then his younger sister asked him for help with her homework. He started to refuse, then stopped. She looked at him the way everyone looked at him, like he had all the answers, like he was special. She asked if he could just give her the solutions so she'd understand better. He saw it clearly in that moment. She was asking him to teach her his lesson. Shortcuts work? And he said yes. He taught her to be dishonest. But even carefully built lies have cracks, and his were about to break. Mrs. Patel called him into her office after class. His stomach dropped. He'd gotten away with so much. This couldn't be about everything. She closed the door quietly. "I wanted to talk to you about your last physics exam," she said, her voice calm. To calm, she pulled up two papers on her computer. Two tests. His name on one, Vikram's name on the other. She scrolled through both. Question by question, the answers were identical. Not similar, not close, identical, down to the exact same error in question 7. His heart hammered so hard he thought she could hear it. He lied smoothly, muscle memory now. "I must study the same way as Vikram. We'd probably use the same online resources." She watched his face. He could see it in her eyes. She knew. She didn't have proof yet. Not enough for accusation. But she knew. The conversation stayed professional, friendly even. But underneath, it was a warning. He left her office thinking it was contained. One teacher. He could manage this. Then, 2 days later, an email arrived. Academic integrity investigation. His parents received a copy. Suddenly, it wasn't secret anymore, wasn't manageable. The principal wanted to meet. His parents had questions he couldn't answer without lying more. Each lie required another lie. Each question tightened the rope. He told himself it wasn't fair. Teachers had favorites. The system was rigged. But underneath those thoughts was the truth he couldn't escape. He was terrified. He was ashamed. And he was completely alone because nobody actually knew who he was. Then came the moment that broke him. The school didn't stop at one test. They went back. 2 years of records. Every exam, every assignment, every quiz. And slowly, the pattern emerged like a photograph developing in water. Similar answers across multiple students. Suspicious score jumps. Questions he shouldn't have known how to answer without understanding the concepts. His guidance counselor called him in. Then his principal. Then both of them sat across from his parents in a formal meeting. The boy watched his mother's face as they explained what they'd found. Not anger, not rage. Something worse, disappointment. His father sat in silence, the kind of silence that means everything. The principal used the word expulsion, possible expulsion. His future, suddenly conditional. His friends heard rumors. Some deleted him from group chats. Others sent messages. "Is it true? Are you really being investigated?" He didn't respond to any of them. He told himself it wasn't fair. Everyone cheated. They were just targeting him because of his grades. They wanted to bring him down. But late at night, sitting alone in his room, scrolling through old messages where he claimed to be brilliant, he faced the real question, I don't even know who I am anymore. The person everyone thought he was, that person never existed. The person he actually was, he had no idea. He was just a collection of lies wearing his face. He had one night before the school board made it official. Tomorrow, the school board would make it official. Tonight, he sat alone in his room, unable to move. His parents wouldn't look at him. His girlfriend had broken up with him 3 days ago. His friends had moved on. His college acceptances, those letters that arrived just weeks ago, full of possibility, would be rescinded before they even opened. His future didn't just disappear, it evaporated. He thought about running. He thought about not waking up. Wouldn't it be simpler? Wouldn't it all just end? Then the sharper thought, he deserved this. He had done this to himself. Every lie, every shortcut. He had destroyed himself trying to impress people who didn't even care about him. He had the reputation he wanted. He was known, but not as smart, as a cheater, as a liar. Nobody respects a liar. Nobody even likes a liar. He was completely, utterly alone. His mother's voice echoed in his memory from when he was young. Your name is your only treasure. protected and you always have something, he had sold his name. He had traded it away for grades that weren't even real. Now he had nothing. He was nothing. Sitting in the dark, he finally broke. He cried, not from fear of consequences, but from the realization that he'd never actually known himself. He'd been performing since he was 14. The person everyone saw didn't exist. There was no one underneath the act. He was empty. My parents said, "Be honest and you'll be proud." I wasn't honest, and now I have nothing to be proud of. Not even myself. Then his phone buzzed. An unexpected message from an unexpected person. The message was from Mrs. Desai, his elementary school teacher, someone he hadn't thought about in years, someone he didn't even know still had his number. She wrote, "Your mother ran into me at the market. She told me what happened. I remember who you are, and I don't think you remember, but I do. And I want you to know, this ends now or it ends you." He stared at the message for a long time. Why would she care? She barely knew him anymore. She was just an old teacher reaching out to make him feel worse. But something in her words felt different. Not judgment, not pity, just clarity. The next morning, she called. Her voice was calm, patient, firm. "Do you know the difference between a cheater and a person who cheated?" she asked. He didn't answer. "A cheater is who you are. A person who cheated is what you did. Which one are you going to be?" Her words landed like stones in still water. Then she said something that shifted everything. "You were so busy being fake smart that you never got to be actually smart. You want to know what actual smart looks like? It looks like admitting you're wrong and rebuilding from there." He realized, listening to her voice, that this wasn't the end. It was the beginning. If he could be honest now. And then he finally understood what being smart actually meant. Over the next few days, Mrs. Desai sent him messages, not lectures, conversations. She explained something he'd never considered. "You thought getting the answers was being smart, but actual intelligence is admitting you don't know. Actual intelligence is asking for help. Actual intelligence is learning from failure instead of covering it up. You wanted everyone to think you were smart, but smart people don't need the world to think they're smart. They need to actually be smart, which means being honest about what they don't know yet." He read her words again and again. Success wasn't perfect grades. Success was being someone he could respect when he looked in the mirror. Success was learning things that actually stuck in his brain because he earned them. Success was being real. She told him something else that broke him open. "I've taught thousands of students. The ones who become successful aren't the ones who fake it. They're the ones who fail, admit it, learn, and try again. That's what actually builds a strong person." He sat with that truth. All his cheating didn't make him successful. It made him weak. He hadn't built any skills. He'd only built lies. He thought, "I spent 2 years trying to impress people. I could have spent 2 years actually becoming impressive." Everything shifted in that moment. He understood what he had to do. So he made the hardest choice of all. He would be honest. The school board meeting arrived. He walked in and told them everything. No defense, no excuse, just truth. "I cheated. I lied. I deserve consequences, expulsion for the semester, a different school, starting completely over." His old friends moved on. His reputation dissolved. But something shifted in his parents' eyes as they watched him confess without excuse. They saw him for the first time in years. Really saw him. At his new school, he took his first honest test. It came back marked D. He earned that D. And something unexpected happened. The failure taught him more than any stolen A+ ever could. He actually understood the material. His second test came back B+, earned real for the first time in years. Genuine pride flooded through him, not the temporary relief of getting away with something, but real satisfaction from actual learning. He started tutoring younger students, teaching them the honest way. Not shortcuts, not tricks, real understanding. Watching them genuinely learn gave him something cheating never could. His parents' trust returned slowly, not because he was perfect now, but because he was finally honest. His notebook filled with things he was learning, not things he was copying. When his younger sister asked, "Will you teach me real things now?" he smiled. "That's all I want to teach you." He became someone he could respect. Not impressive to everyone, but honest. And that was worth more than anything he'd faked. He finally understood what he'd been missing. Years later, when young people asked him how to succeed, he told them this: shortcuts don't make you successful faster. They make you less successful, but feel successful until they don't, and then you crash. The honest path looks slower. It is slower, but you're actually building something real. You're actually becoming something real. And there's no fear in that. There's just peace. He understood something most people learn too late. Your reputation can be destroyed in a day, but your character is the only thing nobody can take from you if you build it right. But your character is also the first thing you lose if you build it wrong. Right now, at your age, you're deciding who you're going to be, he'd say, and those decisions stick. The person you are today is becoming the person you'll be tomorrow. So, if you're about to cheat on that test, if you're about to lie to your parents, if you're about to take the shortcut, don't, because you're not just cheating the system, you're cheating yourself. You're stealing your own future. Real success is slow, unglamorous, boring even, but it's yours. Fake success is fast, exciting, impressive from the outside, but it's a costume, and costumes always come off. He learned to say one thing that changed how young people listened. Be the person your parents think you are, not the person you think they want you to be, because the person they actually think you are. The honest you is always enough. If you're sitting in class right now thinking about cheating on that test, if you're about to copy someone's homework and claim it as your own, if you're about to lie about where you've been or what you've done, if you're performing instead of being real with the people around you, this is your moment. Not after you get caught, not after everything falls apart. Right now, I'm asking you to stop, not because you'll get caught, though you will. Everyone does. And the pain of discovery is nothing compared to the pain of living as a lie. It's okay to not be the best. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to fail publicly, because that's the only way you actually become strong. The shame isn't in failing. The shame is in knowing you could have been real and you chose to fake it instead. So choose differently today. One honest test, one conversation where you say the truth, one homework assignment you actually do yourself. Feel what that actually feels like. Feel what honesty feels like. Then ask yourself, am I going to spend years building a fake version of myself? Or am I going to spend however long it takes building the real you? Your future self will either thank you for being honest now, or hate you for the chains you're building right now. The choice is yours, and it starts today. He sits in a coffee shop, tutoring a high school student. The student is frustrated. "I don't understand this material," she says. "I'm not smart enough." He smiles. He recognizes that voice, that fear, that reaching for shortcuts. "You don't have to be smart enough right now," he tells her. "You just have to be honest enough to admit you don't know." That's where all real learning starts. She looks at him carefully. "Did you always know that?" He shakes his head. "I learned it the hard way. I spent years trying to impress people. I built lies so carefully they felt like truth. And when they fell apart, I fell with them. But that collapse, that was my beginning, not my end." He leans forward. "Your name is your only treasure. Everything else can be taken. But if you build your character on honesty, if you build your skills on real work, if you build your relationships on truth, nobody can take that from you. Not ever. And that's the only success that matters." She nods. Something shifts in her face. Hope, real hope. not the false hope of shortcuts, but the possibility of becoming someone she could respect. This is what he passes on now. Not grades, not impressive achievements, but permission. Permission to be imperfect, permission to fail, permission to be real. He thinks of his mother's words from childhood. Your name is your only treasure. She was right. He just spent years learning how to protect it. If you're watching this right now and you hear yourself in this story, you're not too late. It's never too late to choose honesty. It's never too late to rebuild. It's never too late to become the real you. That's the only success that actually lasts.